Namaste, good morning. Namaste, Gopal Bhaiya. Namaste, all the correspondents. Welcome to the morning session. Gopal Bhaiya, over to you.
Namaste भैया. Am I audible?
Ji Bhaiya, clearly audible.
जी. So namaste everyone. Welcome to all in this morning session. So we discussed about the existence. So we discussed units, space, and their relation in space. Unit and its relation in space. So in last slides we try to understand the existence as a coexistence of units and space. So we discussed that each unit is active, energized in space, and because it is energized, active, that's why they are creating some larger order. So each unit is active, energized. They are active within, they are active with each other, and combinedly they are making larger order. And these larger units combining with another unit, making a larger unit. And in this manner, we can see the whole manifestation of activities of units in space. So there is a coexistence of units and space, and in units there is a consciousness units, and this consciousness units has potential to know, to understand, and we need to work on that. So we need to work for our right understanding. We need to work for our awakening, and rest the universe is already working in a definite manner. So the whole manifestation that we can see in the nature is an outcome of the activity of the units. And there is an activity in the units because they are energized in submergence of space. So smaller unit combining together making larger unit combining together making a larger unit. In this manner there is a physical order, bio order, and when this physical order in physical order we can see composition, decomposition, then in bio order we can see cell, plant, animal body, human body. And when this animal body comes into coexistence of consciousness, there is a animal order. And when human body comes into contact, coexistence of the cell, then it is a human order. And in human, in consciousness, there is a scope of development. So we need to work on contemplation, understanding, realization. We need to work for self-awakening. With this awakening, we can understand the whole existence. We can realize this coexistence. We can contemplate our participation in this existence. So this is what we discussed till now. So let's take few sharing on this. Then we will move towards next slides. जी, नमस्ते भैया।
Namaste, sir. Namaste. Um,
जी,
for coexistence of human along with plant, animal, and solids. From last around 10 years, we have the one Sant Gadge Baba Vichar Manch in our town. And morning 5 to 7 on Sunday, we are working for cleaning, for pouring the waters to the plants, and we are cleaning the Shamshan Bhumi also. And what I understand from our last discussion, takeaway, that we are least working about the plantation. So now we are planning to go for more plantation in our town and around the area, so that our coexistence with plants and solids too will be increased. Is it, Bhaiya, my his takeaway is correct, or what other I should do it?
जी भैया।
Mm.
So this is one part, है ना,
Yeah.
that once I am able to realize coexistence, once I understand my participation in this coexistence, then one participation is to ensure coexistence with plant order. So we can plant more trees, we can give water, etc. So this is one participation.
Mm.
Another is we are also coexisting with material order. We are also coexisting with human order. We are also coexisting with animal order. So important is working for the awakening when we are talking of coexistence with human being.
Mm.
So once we work on this self, once we work for self development, then understanding relationship becomes natural.
Mm.
And once we understand relationship with other units, then participation becomes natural. So for example, planting one tree, more and more tree, this is one part, right?
Mm.
But if we don't have feeling of prosperity, so we don't understand the need. And if human doesn't understand needs properly, then he unknowingly destroy the nature. For
Mm.
example, one person is not able to understand need, he buy the things more and more. Now for one order from Amazon cuts few trees. Whenever we give few orders, it cuts few trees because all physical needs are being fulfilled through natural resources. So
Mm.
if we are not prosperous, if we are not clear of relationship, so maybe we are planting more trees, but at the same time, m- lack of clarity needs. We maybe because of our
Mm.
greed, maybe cutting
Yes,
tree
yes.
from home itself. So many people are not
Hmm.
aware of their needs. So because they are not aware
Ye-
of their needs, they are in greed. So unconsciously, these trees are being cut to fulfill their greed. So planting trees, this is one part, but helping human beings for awakening, this is also one part. So
hmm.
in both part we need to work.
Yeah.
And otherwise, for example, if we see our child, when they study subject environment science, now you see the whole environment science, and they design in chart paper, you know, they do many activities at home, and in these
Hmm.
activities they are wasting papers rather than complementing nature.
Hmm.
So if that child plant one tree in his life, but he is not clear about his purpose, feeling of prosperity, his need, so planting tree is negligible because his activities is uh, exploitating nature. So
Correct.
both part we need to ensure. So planting one tree,
Hmm.
this is one part. Secondary, helping human being to understand the purpose of life, to have feeling of prosperity, to see relationship with other units. This is also important. जी भैया.
Hmm. Namaste. Bhaiya. Thank you.
नमस्ते भैया.
Mm, Namaste, Namaste Bhaiya. Good morning.
नमस्ते. जी.
So my voice, I think, is audible.
जी भैया, क्लियर.
So this exercise is very important. What I have uh, realized that I think the essence of this exercise is that we have to know that we are connected to everyone in the creation, as we have mentioned here. And for that, as we have mentioned that we need to awaken to understand our role in the existence as coexisting. So transformation or awakening is more important. So as I recollect my own life journey, sometime in the past I have experienced this oneness with the whole creation. And in my school, in my studies, other students were there, were my colleagues in the school. I always had though I was good at studies, and I always used to help other colleagues in their studies. But I felt that uh, in school as well as in college, people have that attitude or tendency of competition in, instead of cooperation or coexisting and helping each other by way of whether we are good in something, we help others. If we are weak in something, we take help from others. So this kind of attitude I felt was missing through my school, college, and also later professional life. People are just trying to show that I am better than you, uh, I am superior to you, and your other person is inferior. So this kind of attitude I found in corporate colleagues and my professional colleagues and also school college. So while I am following uh, an attitude of coexistence with other human beings, I find there is a strong tendency in others to compete and put each other down. So I have found in my struggle in my life that I have I've got disempowered by this kind of attitude in the society. So how do I handle this? Because other people are trying to show they are superior or inferior. They're not have the attitude of helping each other and cooperating. And so this is my very short uh, submission, a kind of observation, which you can throw light. Thank you.
जी भैया. So for human being, it's matter of relationship. है ना? If human being is not able to understand relationship, then it becomes difficult to cooperate, to help other person. So whenever we are able to see relationship, the natural outcome is to help the other. So relationship is important. So relationship exists, but somehow we are not able to see it. So why it is happening? Because our education system is helping students to see the gross level things. So if you see, the outcome of education is good salary package. So this good salary package, what will he do? Students will enjoy physical facility, sensual pleasures, and all these things are at gross level. So after the whole education in society, most of the people are able to see the gross level relation in terms of physical facility. So somehow we are not able to help others to see the relationship at certain level. So because we are not able to see relationship, that's why it is difficult for people in society to cooperate with each other. So what we can do in this situation? For us, we can have a feeling of relationship. So we can have a feeling of relationship for everyone. So at least I can be comfortable with everyone. And with this feeling of relationship, we can help others. And we can only help others to understand. Whether the other person will understand or not, it is up to their competence. But we can have feeling of relationship, we can have feeling of thoughts of relationship, and we can behave with feeling of relationship. So this is in our hand as an individual, and as a member of society, we can help others to educate, to see the relationship. So at least these two things we can do from our hand, Bhaiya. Is it okay, Bhaiya? Or
Right,
something?
that is true. We can, that is what we can do. Only thing is, uh, in the process of interacting with others who are not, unless we develop our competence and unless we remain in the get established in our empowered personality or consciousness, sometimes we need to we need to continuously work within so that we remain in harmony and balance, and that becomes a challenge. So that is what I'm struggling with. So it's okay, whatever you have mentioned, it's true. We have to work on this.
जी भैया, नाइस।
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
ओके भैया,
Mm.
नमस्ते भैया।
नमस्ते भैया, एम आई ऑडिबल भैया?
जी जी।
जी। नमस्ते, नमस्ते टू ऑल भैया. I would like to reflect upon two things. First is that yes, I am able to see this clearly that except the human beings conscious part, everything is self-organized and everything is happening automatic, means naturally it is happening in a harmonious way. Talking about the human being consciousness part, it is also always having the desire to live with the innateness or with the naturality, or we can also say natural acceptance, that I am able to see within me every time. Whenever I go against the natural law, the existential reality, I welcome suffering. So, somewhere, whenever I do not live with the natural acceptance, it causes problems to me only. Sometimes I'm not able to see, but it also causes problem to the nature, as you were taking the example of Amazon. So I truly feel this thing that if somebody is not living with the natural acceptance, so maybe in the real time suffering is happening, or he or she is creating suffering for others, for future, for nature, or for human beings. For an example, if somebody is buying so many clothes and he is saying I'm having enough money, and he is not feeling like this, that what wrong am I doing? If I'm having money, I love to do shopping and all. But in the future, he is not realizing that when people would perceive him, they might also get influenced by this. First thing is this. Second, he is not utilizing the clothes properly, material unit properly. In this process, logistic is happening, and many more things he is doing. So in the future, actually, he is not leaving it for the future generation as well. So if we see holistically and properly, then we are able to see that we just need to have the natural acceptance. We just need to learn how to live with the existential reality. This I am able to see clearly. One more transformation that I'm able to see these days within me is this, that previously it was very difficult for me to forgive others. There is a person, Marshall Rosenberg. He, maybe in one of his speeches, he spoke this thing that we have been trained in such a manner that we feel if somebody is doing mistake, then he deserves suffering. He does not deserve solution. So I guess this is something which is happening with us, that whenever somebody is attempting any mistake, small or big, we directly feel that what punishment does he or she deserve? We don't feel that how can I participate in his life so that he could also feel complete or fulfilled within. So this is a basic preconditioning that we all are having. And the person was from America, so he was talking about the condition of America. But when I even see in India, in my city, in my surrounding, I see almost the same. And within me as well, I see this thing up to a great extent. That whenever any student is not studying, what comes first in my mind is that I think I should punish him. Punishing can be verbal as well. Punishing can be calling to his father, calling to mother, anybody, parent. So I think this is the preconditioning that we have. But these days, I'm able to see a good shift within me, that I am able to see that I have the potential to forgive. I have I have the potential to stay unaffected from his or her wrongdoings towards me or towards anyone. And at the same time, I am also able to see the potential in the person to means having the desire to live a good life, to live a life with natural acceptance, to live a complete life. So when I'm able to see the potential in both, in me to forgive, in the person to understand, I think by that time good programs can be made. Otherwise, we keep feeling that how long will I forgive? Even Lord, we take the example of some God, Lord, that he also forgave for only just 100 times. And how long will I forgive? Will I only keep forgiving? And at the same, why do we quit, or why do we feel like I can't do it more? Because we don't see the potential in the person, that the person can also understand. The person already has the innateness to understand. So I think, bhaiya, I am able to see it up to some extent. I would not say very good, but so it helps me to at least communicate, to design some participation, to design some programs. So yeah, this is something I want to say. If you want to say something, please say. Thank you.
जी भैया. So nice sharing भैया. And one thing about forgiveness is very interesting, that when someone does mistake, we feel hurt, we are in pain, है ना, because we are not able to see others person intention. So we
Ji.
are in pain, and when we forgive others, we come out of our pain, है ना.
Correct.
Forgiveness appear that I am doing something for the other person, but we are doing for ourselves. So when
Correct.
we forgive others, we come out of that state that was creating pain in me.
Yes,
ना.
yes.
So we are forgiving because of our comfortability. ना.
Yes.
And it is our nature also that we don't want to be in that state. So
Correct.
forgiveness is the feeling when we come out of the painful state that I have created in unawareness.
Hmm.
The other person is doing some mistake because of the competence, but we are not able to see his intention. Somehow we have understood his competence as intention. Now with this misunderstanding, we are feeling hurt, and we are forgiving because this is going to help us, not the other person. So
Correct.
directly it will help us.
Yes, yes, yes.
है ना. So this is very interesting part.
Hmm.
जी. And in real sense, forgiveness means I am not affected from your mistake.
Ji.
So this is forgiveness. But now I am affected. So I am forgiving you, but I am feeling relaxed.
Hmm.
So it is important point about forgiveness.
Ji. Ji.
जी भैया.
Ji. Thank you,
Okay.
भैया.
नमस्ते भैया.
Namaste, भैया.
नमस्ते सर, नमस्ते सभी को.
नमस्ते भैया.
Actually, what I wanted to speak was about a sharing. We actually, what I was actually, abhi, the discussion was going on and I forgot what I wanted to speak because I was so much engrossed in the discussion. Yes. So, what I was about to say was like it was about the order in the four uh, dimensions that we see, four orders that we see. So, like yesterday, I was just moving around from um, the workshop place and to my where I am staying. So what I saw was there was like they were watering the plants, right? And a pipe was broken in between. Huh? So instead of going to the ground, some part of water was spilling on the path on the pavement. So when I was moving that time, I was seeing even though he is doing a good thing, that is watering the plants and the grass and everything. But still, water is coming out and he's not watching it. And there is an entire streak of water that is being flowing. And at the time when I was thinking this in my mind, as I moved forward, what I saw was in that streak only, birds were there. And not just one, but lines. There were like 8 to 10 birds in line, and with that streak of water on the pavement, they were drinking water. And then immediately what I saw there was, even though there is a disorder, a little bit disorder from one side, nature is trying to cover up with that also in order. So even though if we try to do good, nature and existence is such, in our, if there is some mistake also which is there, they try to cover it up, they try to correct it. But sometimes we are so unaware that we make mistakes so big that even nature can't do anything. So that was the like one impression. And since there was it was an assignment, so it was there in my mind to see it in that perspective. And this assignment helped me to see that perspective, which was again a new feeling. Even though he was doing good, but there was some mistake which was happening, and nature has plans for that mistake also. Some others are getting benefited. Maybe animal order is getting benefited with it. They are drinking water from it. So kahin na kahin there is all relationship going on, and everywhere we can observe something, and that observation, and this is the change which I also see in myself, that keen observation has improved. Maybe I may not have observed this in a normal time, but now I am able to see this, and probably now I'm not afraid of making mistakes also. If I'm doing good and intentions are good, maybe I'll learn more, maybe I'll do better, and karne se I'll not be afraid, because somehow somewhere there is an order which is maintained, and I try to support that order. That is what I wanted to share. Anything you want to add, Priya? Sarji?
जी. So good observation, Rajat ji. So human has to be more conscious about the activities. So holisticness is required in human being. So intensely we do many things good, but because of lack of the holistic competence, holisticness in our activities, so somehow we get slipped into other domains. But the rest of nature is in order, working in a definite manner. But human has to be more conscious about the activities that we need to learn. Otherwise, rest of the nature is working in ordered manner, right? So this is what human being is required to learn more and more. So two things are required in human being. One thing is relationship with other units. Second is to learn more and more how we can behave in a mutually fulfilling manner. So the more we are conscious of our activity, the more we will be living in a mutually fulfilling manner. Otherwise, rest of nature is already working in a harmonious manner. So it's something, maybe some mistake from us uh, benefit to other units of nature. But more conscious decision, you know, will help to ensure complementarity with rest of nature. जी जी रजत जी.
जी भैया. जी भैया.
So
I'm
that's from
already
my side.
observing and I'm getting this. Yes, sir, भैया. बिल्कुल. मतलब I like what you said.
जी
Thank you,
जी.
भैया.
Okay,
I'm happy
namaste.
that I'm able to see now. At least देखने लगा हूँ, and that is a thing. And when we able to see our mistakes, sometimes we can even correct them. अभी गलती, if we are doing a mistake and we are not able to see, and we don't know that we are making a mistake, then towards the four orders, 4 units, तो उसे correct कर पाना और भी difficult हो जाएगा. And at least I am able to see. Now I try to correct also whatever I can, best I can. So thank you, sir, and I thank to entire UHP for this. Thank you.
जी जी नमस्ते सर. नमस्ते भैया.
नमस्ते भैया. नमस्ते सभी को. भैया, I have 2-3 questions. So first I will take small questions. Like in the beginning, when you are explaining that chart of existence and that is coexistence, in that when we are talking about the innateness of this pranic order, bio order, here we are taking existence plus growth. However, I'm understanding the meaning of that, but as far as the word we are using, the growth, is it sufficient? Because in bio order, growth is there, and means formation, deformation is there. So growth is there, but not only growth is there. After a certain time, growth stops and it reverses. So just putting the word growth is sufficient in that case for innateness of bio order. That is my first question, Bhaiya.
जी. And next.
Next is where we are saying sukh swabhav hai, but some places we are saying sukh dharm hai. When we are talking about natural characteristics of or swabhav of human being, it is we are saying dhirta, virta, udarta, daya, karuna. But in the beginning also, at many places we are saying sukh swabhav hai. So that is not also connecting completely. This is another question here. The third question is a little bit longer, so I will put it later. Yes, Bhaiya.
जी भैया.
And it is just matter of words, Bhaiya. It doesn't it doesn't affect so much for my exploration or everyone's exploration. But
जी जी.
because we are placing the words also in a very proper manner in UHP. I just want to make clear to myself only. And that is clear. The understanding part is clear.
जी. So that is more important. That
Yeah. That is it.
understanding part is clear.
Yes, yeah. And because words have limitation, that is clear to me also. So means what I am understanding, that is fine or correct, or there should be, you will suggest some corrections in my understanding, because I'm also exploring and simultaneously putting the content in classroom or in some workshops. For that purpose, I'm just wanted to clear it.
जी जी. जी भैया.
Yes.
So when we are saying dharma, है ना? So
Yes,
we
yes.
are talking about innateness.
Yes.
So will to live with continuous happiness.
Yes.
So that is innateness. So that is innateness.
Yes. Yeah.
And when we are saying swabhav, है ना? Sukh is our swabhav.
Yes.
So our swabhav is to participate.
Yes.
So when we participate with innateness, so it ensures mutual fulfillment. So when we say swabhav is sukh is our swabhav. So
Yes.
means participation is our swabhav. So participation with happiness, with relationship, this is our swabhav. And this continuous happiness is innate in us. With continuous happiness, whatever is we are participating outside is our swabhav.
Okay. But this coming out of innateness, that's why uh, we are a little bit liberal in the words.
Ah,
And saying it is our
yes.
soul. Yeah. Okay, then it is fine. Because
Ji,
everything is connected. It is not like separate. So how is not separate from innateness? That I can see.
Ji. So everything is connected. है ना? Something is innate in us. Now
Yes.
words help us to see the activity.
Yes.
है ना? So at same time we need to be more precise. At same
Yes.
time we need to include 2 or 3 activities. So it's matter of perception from where we are seeing it.
And it's matter of context also. Yeah.
Ji. It's
Yes.
matter of context.
Yes, Bhaiya, because when we are saying prabhav, then we have to connect it with swabhav also. So at that level, we are connecting with swabhav. In the basis, dharma is there, means innateness is there, and coexistence is also there in the base.
Yes. So coexistence is the basis of all things.
Yes.
है ना?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Okay, Bhaiya.
And-
So let's move to our next slide. Then I will come back to your the first question.
Okay, Bhaiya. Okay, thank you.
So we have only 15 minutes.
Yes, Bhaiya, we can take, if there is, we have lack of time, we will take it next day or
Ji.
some. No issue.
Ji.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
So Tara Prasanna Bhaiya, will you move to next slide? Sunil Bhaiya.
Ji, Priya. So we have just finished the fourth part of the prelude. Shall we go to the exercise or the last slide on the?
No,
Fourth.
next slide, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Exercise 1 in next slide. Ji. So now we are moving towards exercise 1 and 2. है ना? So we are doing these exercises for our development. So it should be clear to all of us that this exercise is primarily for our self-development, for our development, for the growth of the consciousness. And what we need to develop? We need to develop understanding. We need to purify our accumulated sanskars, feelings and thoughts. So because we want to live with continuous happiness, and for that we are doing this exercise. So the exercise 1 and 2 is focused on this self-development. So primary objective of this exercise is to work for our development, is to ensure the understanding, right understanding. And in this process, we will purify our all accumulated feelings and thoughts. So in this process, we will evaluate whatever we have accumulated in us, whether it is in line with harmony or not. That we will see in this process. So benefit of this exercise is to evaluate our accumulated sanskar and to move towards right understanding. So one thing we need to remember that we are going to do these exercises for our self development, and with self development we will be able to see our complementarity with every other units. So we want to live with continuous fulfillment, and for living with continuous fulfillment, continuous happiness, we are doing these exercises, exercise 1 and 2. So if we investigate why we are not able to live a fulfilling life, so we can easily see most of the time we are unaware of ourselves. We are unable to purify our sanskars. So these exercises will help us to purify our sanskar, to be aware of ourselves. So in the UHV course, we understood that we need continuity of happiness, which is basic human aspiration. And we concluded in UHV2 that in order to ensure continuous happiness, we need to develop 3 things. Number 1, right understanding in the self, right feeling thought in the self, and competence for right living with the world outside. So we will focus on the understanding, feeling, and thought, and whatever competence is required to live with the outside world that we will see. So these 3 points we discussed in UHV2. Now, if you see that if we just want to live, then physical facility is enough. If we want to live with fulfillment, then understanding of relationship is also required with physical facility. But if we want to live with continuous happiness, then we need to understand ourselves, we need to have right feeling, and we need to have right competence to interact with outside world. So next slide, Bhaiya. Yes. So we are doing these exercises in order to develop right understanding, a right understanding of the existential reality, self, body, family, society, nature, and the entire existence. So we need to have the understanding of the existential reality. So the more we are clear about the reality, the more we will be able to ensure mutual fulfillment while interacting with outside world. So we are doing these exercises in order to develop right understanding, then right feeling and thought of the relationship, harmony and coexistence. So with this exercise, we will be able to ensure a right feeling of relationship, harmony and coexistence in this self. So feeling of relationship, feeling of harmony, feeling of coexistence, that we see with the help of this exercise. And then competence for right living in the self. It means living relationship, harmony and coexistence with the world outside. Or in other words, we can say that in terms of behavior, work, participation in larger order. So these 3 things we will focus during these exercises. So right understanding, right feeling thought, and competence in terms of behavior, work, and participation. So for a human being, we need all the three. So that we will explore during these exercises. Right. So once we try to understand ourselves, we will practice awareness of the self, and we will try to understand the reality, existential reality. With the understanding of this reality, we can have feeling of coexistence, feeling of harmony, feeling of relationship, and then we can live with mutual fulfillment. So these are we are going to explore in this exercise 1 and 2. जी भैया, next slide. जी. So our focus in these exercises will be on the self first. So once we are able to set the self right, we'll be able to live in harmony with the world outside. So our major focus will be on ensuring right understanding, right feeling and thought. So right understanding of the existential reality and right feeling of relationship, harmony and coexistence. So basically we will focus on these two things in these exercises. जी भैया, and next slide. So to live with fulfillment, we need to understand. To understand, we need to see, observe. To see, we need to pay attention, to be mindful. So in these exercises, we are paying attention to see, to understand, and ultimately to live with the fulfillment. Right. So this is the purpose of the exercise. So we tend to make mistakes in living with the reality that we do not understand. So when we do not understand reality, we assume something about the reality, and if our assumption is not correct, then our interaction may go wrong. So it reflects in the form of mistakes. So this exercise will help us to understand the reality. So while paying attention, there are two important aspects. Number one is object of attention. Where should we pay attention? And number two, process of paying attention. So these two things we will make clear during these exercise. Number one, where we need to pay attention. What will be the object of attention? Number two, what will be the process of paying attention? So these two things we are going to explore further. जी भैया, next slide. Yes. So what is to be understood? We have to understand all that we live with: the self, the body, the family, the society, the nature, and ultimately the entire existence. Right? So that we need to understand. So during first course on UHP, we have seen that existence is coexistence. Now, coexistence means units submerged in space. And when we are saying units, so we are talking about material unit and consciousness unit, both. So units are submerged in space. So we will try to understand consciousness, material, and coexistence means space. So these three realities we need to understand. One is consciousness, second is material, and third is coexistence in space. So this we will do one by one. So exercise 1 is to understand the consciousness, the self in detail. Exercise 2 is to understand the material, body in detail. And we will briefly touch exercise 3, which is for understanding the coexistence, the space. So we will focus on exercise 1 and 2 primarily during the next 2 months. So as we are aware that there are three realities that we need to understand. One is unit and space and coexistence. In units, we need to understand consciousness, we need to understand material, and we need to understand coexistence. So in exercise 1, we will focus on the observation of the consciousness, observation of the self. In exercise 2, we will understand the material in detail. So material, we will discuss about the body. And then we will discuss briefly upon the exercise 3, that is coexistence. So this is what we are going to discuss in next few months. Exercise 1 and 2. Right. So next slide here. Yes. So as I discussed just now, that existence is coexistence. And in this coexistence, units are submerged in space. And if you see units, there are material unit and consciousness unit. So consciousness means we are talking about the self. So exercise 1 is to see the self, to observe the self. Exercise 2 is to see the body by the self. And with this, exercise 3 is to see coexistence, relationship between units and space. So this we all going to discuss through exercise 1 and 2. So that we will start from tomorrow, exercise 1. So this is a brief background. So let me briefly sum up. So mainly we are going to discuss all these exercises for our development, for our growth. So mutually fulfilling interaction will be outcome of this exercise. But our major focus will be for our development. So during this exercise, we will focus on ourselves. We will investigate ourselves, and whatever we feel obstacle in ourselves, that we will discuss. Rest things will be a natural outcome. So we will start exercise 1 from tomorrow. So it's time for Hindi session also. So thank you everyone for participating. So from tomorrow we will start exercise 1. So namaste भैया, नमस्ते सभी को.